Hey everyone, this is Professor Clark, and in this lecture we are going to go over personal appearance, how to describe people's height, hair color, eye color, things like that. And if you're listening to this in the MP3 or the podcast version, I suggest you take a look at the PowerPoint because I have a number of pictures of different hair and eye colors. They are somewhat different in Russian than in English, so I felt that pictures are useful. So this is going to be a fairly long presentation, but hopefully you will find it enlightening. Let's start by talking about height. And as you learned in Chapter 3, expressions involving height or size use the genitive. So to refresh your memory, the question, how tall is she or is he, is какого она, if it's a woman, or он, if it's a man, роста. So какого она роста, or какого он роста. And it literally means, of what height is he or she? And the answer is also going to take the genitive. So we could say, он невысокого or маленького роста, to say he is short. We could say, она среднего роста, to say she is of medium height. Or, он высокого роста, he is tall. So that was pretty straightforward. Now let's talk about hair, which is a little more complicated. In Russian, hair is normally plural. We talk about hairs. And the declension of the word hair is somewhat complicated. It's one of these ola words where the stress jumps around a lot. So the nominative plural is волосы, with the stress on the first syllable. The genitive plural is волос, with the stress on the second syllable. The dative plural is волосам, with the stress on the third syllable. Accusative is going to be the same as nominative, so волосы. Instrumental волосами, prepositional волосах. In Russian, as in English, they divide hair into dark hair and light hair as general color divisions, and so we can talk about темные волосы for dark hair, and that can be anything from black to chestnut or auburn. Where it gets more complicated is the divisions within dark hair or light hair, and Russian has some more divisions than English does. So let's start off with black hair, which is the same in either language. Черные волосы, black hair, and black hair in Russian, as in English, is very dark and does not normally have hints of chestnut or gold in it. It's just straight up black. Next, we have каштановые волосы, which literally means chestnut hair, but it can mean chestnut, auburn, or brown hair. And so it's lighter than black hair, it's still definitely dark, and it has brown tints and normally tints of red or gold in it as well. So that's каштановые волосы. And there are a couple of different names for people who have каштановые волосы. There are nouns that are used to describe people with that hair color. If they have light chestnut hair, a man is a shatian and a woman is a shatienka. And if they have dark chestnut, auburn, or brown hair, a man is a brunette and a woman is a brunetka. And in the picture on the PowerPoint, you can see that the person on the left is a shatienka and the person on the right is a brunetka. Каштановые волосы are different from рыжие волосы. Рыжие волосы are bright red or ginger hair. They do not have a lot of brown in them. While каштановые волосы are mainly brown with red tints, рыжие волосы are mainly red with perhaps some blonde in them. So рыжие волосы are redheads, gingers, or strawberry blondes. And so those are all basically in the group of темные волосы, and then we have the group of светлые волосы, which also has several divisions within it. So светлые волосы can refer to anything from light brown hair to ash blonde. The color that's often most confusing to Americans are русые волосы, which literally means Russian-colored hair. And this is light brown or honey blonde or dirty blonde hair. It's this kind of dark blonde or light brown color. Again, it's called русые волосы, and unsurprisingly, it's extremely common in Russia for ethnic Russians as a hair color. And then someone with very svetlia volosy is a blondine if it's a man, or a blondinka is a woman. So this is a blonde person, blondine or blondinka. Finally, when talking about hair color, we need to note that svetlia volosy are gray hair, and the word for gray is different if it is hair that has gone gray from age versus gray that is naturally gray from birth. So if someone's hair has gone gray as a natural part of the aging process, they have svetlia volosy, and the verb is sidiet, to turn gray. If you're talking about, for example, a wolf or a horse, and they have naturally gray hair or a naturally gray coat, you use the word siri, which is something that is inherently gray and has not turned gray from age. So we talk about svetlia volosy for someone whose hair has grown gray with age, but we talk about siri volk, a gray wolf, or siraya loshid, a gray horse. Now let's talk a little bit about hair length and hairstyles. Длинные волосы are long hair. Волосы до плеч is shoulder-length hair. Короткие волосы is short hair. If you have a стрижка ёжик, that's a buzz cut, literally a hedgehog cut, but стрижка ёжик for buzz cut. And then бритые волосы means shaved hair or being shaven-headed. And then a пучок is a bun, and a коса or a косичка is a braid. Now let's talk about hair texture. Straight hair is прямые волосы. Wavy hair is волнистые волосы. Curly hair can be either кудрявые or вьющиеся волосы. And I tried to find a difference between кудрявые and вьющиеся волосы. Sometimes it seemed like there wasn't much of a difference. Sometimes it seemed like вьющиеся волосы are more like wavy hair, and кудрявые is in tight spirals. In any case, either of those can work for curly hair. And then bald is лысый. Now let's talk about eye color. And this is also somewhat different than what we do in English. And there are different eye colors, not necessarily more eye colors, but different distinctions in eye color. So first of all, in Russian, they have this concept of black eyes. And I was quite surprised when a number of my American students said that there's no such thing as black eyes, there's just brown eyes. And when I looked up the English language Wikipedia about eye color, indeed, it did not have black eyes, it only had brown eyes. However, in Russian, they make a distinction between black eyes, черные глаза, and brown eyes, карие глаза. And черные глаза are very dark so that it is difficult to distinguish the pupil from the iris, unless you look really close. And they are considered to be very attractive in Russian culture. And there are lots of songs about people with черные глаза or черные очи, black eyes. And then next we have brown eyes or карие глаза. And these are also dark and brown tinted, but you can easily distinguish the pupil from the iris. The pupil is obviously black and the iris is obviously brown and is clearly distinguishable from the pupil. Note the word karya. It is one of the very few soft stem adjectives that does not have a stem ending in N. It's very unusual grammatically that way. And so it is a soft stem adjective and takes soft stem endings, but the stem ends in er rather than N. Next we have green eyes, or зелёные глаза, which are basically the same color as green eyes in English. They are fairly uncommon in Russia. One thing to note is that Russian does not normally talk about hazel eyes, which we frequently use in English eye color. And so, depending on whether your eyes are more green or more brown, you'll probably say that they're either зелёные or карие. And then we have blue eyes, and normally the word for blue that is used to describe eye color is голубой. So we talk about голубые глаза, which are light blue eyes. Sometimes you might also talk about синие глаза, which are dark blue eyes, but normally blue eyes are голубые глаза. And finally, we have серые глаза, or gray eyes. And this is the most common eye color in Russia amongst ethnic Russians. In English, we do talk about gray eyes, but they are comparatively unusual in a lot of English-speaking countries. And most of my students say that they have blue eyes, and then if you actually examine them, it turns out that some of them have gray eyes. I was very surprised to discover that many of my students did not know what gray eyes were and claimed never to have seen gray eyes, and then they discovered that they themselves had gray eyes. So again, this is a very common eye color in Russia, and you are very likely to meet many people with серые глаза or gray eyes. I hope you found that helpful and enlightening, and it did not cause too much painful self-reflection about your identity, or maybe it was very illuminating for your identity. Maybe you discovered that you do have gray eyes and you are amongst the, mysterious foreign gray-eyed tribe. In any case, now you know how to describe hair and eye color in Russian, and so go forth and describe yourself.